Welcome in. It's a game day here on Sabres Live, and we are excited to kick off the show in advance of tonight's action here at LECOM Harborcenter. It's Buffalo and Montreal, and we are with Scott Ratzlaff, who was drafted by the Sabres in the 5th round this past year. And how are you feeling heading into tonight, Scott? Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's going to be really exciting. I think just getting this underway. It's been long anticipation coming after the draft and development camp, and now you get to play the other teams and their prospects, so it's going to be really exciting.
What were the things that you worked on after development camp to say, okay, I saw what development camp's about, I've worked with some of the coaches here in Buffalo, now I got to go back home and work on some specific things?
Yeah, they kind of talk about there where, where you're coming from in your league. Let's say, for example, like I use my feet, I'm fast on my feet, I can get there places early, but here it's like a whole nother level, so it's going back in the summertime, it's now how can I use those strengths and those strengths of mine, I said, to this level and use it to my advantage. So,
and who did you work with there?
I had a couple different goalie coaches. My one from Seattle, Brad Guzda.
Yep.
I worked with him a bit. Kelly Gard every once in a while, and even Gavin Armstrong. He's out of Beaumont, Alberta. So just ranging from different goalie coaches and seeing what they have to say, see what sticks, see what doesn't.
I was watching a little bit of practice yesterday. You guys were doing a lot of post plays, like coming back into the post, making sure you got a nice seal, getting that shot from a bad angle. That always happens. Do you think I see kids and junior kids and pro working on the post plays so much? Even Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen talked about how we had him on the show a couple of days ago, how he worked on post plays all summer. Is that the main focus, do you think, now in today's game, all these plays around the net?
Yeah, it's huge, and, with the invention of the in-ground pegs and using your pegs to your advantage, especially at this level, feeling them, making sure you cover that short side corner, and like you said, you can always work on post plays, working post to post, post out, making it those transitions as smooth as possible.
Are you the kind of goalie that likes to knock the net off once in a while? Because was it Matt Murray last year got in a lot of trouble with Toronto because he kept knocking it off? Do you give it an extra shot sometimes?
Depending how long we've been hemmed in the zone. I mean, if it's a PK or something like that, not afraid to get a whistle. But
have you ever been called for delay of game?
No, I have not.
All right. Okay.
So he's good at
first for everything.
Yeah, exactly.
I got called for playing the puck in the trapezoid the very first training camp that we started with the rule, and it was barely in there, and I didn't think the referee could see it. They have eyes everywhere, so be careful with the trapezoid. They don't have it here, but,
Yeah, that was the same with, at Thunderbirds training camp. We got the young boys coming in, they're skating out to the corner. It's like, well, you can't quite do that now, so no one's told them yet.
You were the young guy last year, right, as part of that Seattle team that went all the way to the final game in the Memorial Cup. Just take us through that entire experience. Obviously, your numbers spoke for themselves throughout the course of the regular season and, just what the entire feel of that year with that group was for you.
Yeah, I think it was awesome. Just coming so close the year before, losing it in the finals to the Oil Kings was just coming into that next year's training camp. We got some valuable assets from our management, and this was our year to win those extra 2 more games. So it was just going throughout the year, you could learn so much from Thomas Milic and just how he handles himself through the playoffs, through the regular season, having that starting role, playing 40 games and learning how to handle his body, take care of it. And then the playoffs too, just being consistent night in, night out and giving your team a chance to win. So just now, this year, maybe stepping into that bigger role, I want to, like I said, do what I can and give the team a chance to win.
I know this is a crazy question because every goalies I've ever talked to will always say, I want to play every game. But do you like playing a lot of games, or do you like playing a couple, then having one off to work on your game? What's your preferred approach to games?
I think, like you said, every goalie wants to play more games, so I think that's just a great opportunity to even learn. You have practice to learn, and then it's implementing it into those games.
Yeah.
So the more games you get, the more different looks you get, power play, PK, things like that. So I think just the more the better, the more you can learn from different situations.
Well, Scott might be downplaying how many games he actually played last year. I mean, Seattle was pretty good at using both of you, and you had a record of 25-8. Marty, I think if you're a couple of years into your junior career, you'd be pretty happy with a record of 43, 10, and 2. Which is what this young man possesses right now going into this year.
How did you lose 10 games? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That I mean, at the end of the day, junior hockey, we know, can be a little loose. Do Do you embrace that chaos of junior hockey a little bit in the way that you play?
Yeah, I think the game has turned into a lot of get pucks on net, like our coach said, shots lead the shots. And one thing that I noticed when walking into the Western League and here development camp, they're trying to get bodies in front, net front, create chaos. So I think the ability to thrive within that chaos, finding shot lanes, finding tips and things like that, that's a huge part of the game now because it's becoming more of a congested style game where throwing pucks in the net and jamming at rebounds. So
one of the things, Duffer will laugh at this, but a lot of times people that we meet on the street or here at the arena, they look at me and they're like, oh, you're a lot taller than we thought you'd be and whatnot. First time I saw you at development camp, I said, he fills the net a lot. Like, you look at the stats and you look at the height and weight, and sometimes you have a pre-notions of goaltenders, but I felt like you really filled the net a lot. Do you work with your equipment? Is it something like I used to put my gear on and go right to the mirror? Do I look big? Like, is that something you do?
I can't say I have not done that before. I do that often, but yeah, like you look at they say the stereotypical height, 6'2", 6'3", and I think whatever height you are, you got to look at yourself in the mirror. Maybe I used to set my phone up in front of the crease far out with some pucks, and I'd go through the motions, look at myself, hold my hands in different spots, and it's just being able to fill as much net as you can using your square footage or body space. So I think if you're 6'1", if you're 6'4", just your ability to fill the net, fill those holes is more important.
Scott, you're starting tonight, I trust?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have an expectation or a plan that you were told in advance as far as the entirety of the weekend and this Prospects Challenge? Or?
Yeah, just like they talk about development and getting better every single day. And he told us yesterday that I was starting, and it's just, right at that moment, that's when you kind of start your process. It's the night before, how many hours of sleep you're getting, what you're eating even before you go to bed and things like that. And I like to do a lot of different things, read, meditate, things like that. So, just leading up to this, getting better through those practices, and then once he kind of told me, it was, okay, I'm going to resort back to what I've learned, what has got me here, and then go through my routine leading up to this point.
You play in Seattle, so you a Seahawks fan? Or now that you're here, Sunday, big home opener for the Bills. This is a big game with their performance on Monday night. Like, have you been put a lot of blue and red into your
wardrobe? Or?
Yeah.
It's kind of just who's ever on my fantasy team, honestly. And I got Josh Allen, so I'm praying for a good opener. So
you're an Alberta boy, right? So which team did you and your friends tend to gravitate to as a kid?
In hockey or football?
No, in football. In football.
Well, we got the CFL, and my dad was always a big Saskatchewan Roughriders fan, so sometimes I'd see the guys wear the watermelon on the head and things like that. I've seen that as a tradition, so I think it wasn't as big, but I remember my dad having a big Roughriders flag, so I just had to go with it to not make him upset.
Have you been keeping up on the Elks and their troubles the last few years? Because Duffer...
Surging Elks.
They're surging now. They finally won a home game and won a game, and they're surging, but that was the thing. Like, I'll get a text late at night, and Duffer will be like, the Elks are winning in the third quarter. So...
That's awesome.
Yeah, they've had a tough go. What other sports did you play growing up? Because we always like to, talk about rounding out your development athletically as a kid.
Yeah, I played a lot of different sports. Fastball, if you know what that is, underhand, overhead, baseball.
Like fastball, like a full windmill?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And baseball, wow.
Yeah, so that's Irma is big on that. We hold tournaments for teams all over the country. We had a team from New Zealand actually come down and play our Irma Tigers. So
nice.
It's a really fun sport. It's high-paced, and I just do it sometimes in the off-season too, and they pitch hard. And they what's called crow hop, if you ever heard of it. Where they come out of the mound there and they jump a couple feet, and it goes from, I think, 46?
46 to 38?
To 30, and then you're ready to swing before they even throw the ball. So that's a lot of fun. And
where do you play in the field? What position?
I like to catch.
Okay.
Catch a lot. Kind of bad for the knees, so I've laid off a little bit more. They stuck me in right field. least injury prone.
9. I used to always look at the game sheet. Whoever had the 9 for the position, it's like, we are just going to put you out there.
I'm already worried about this kid, though. Knees and hips, goaltending and catching. Like
Yeah.
that's a tough combo.
They have the nice pads that you
yeah,
can
they
sit
do.
on.
The knee savers. So
The knee
I
saver.
played a lot when I was younger, but like you said, when you get old, the hips.
You
and the
get
knees,
old.
You gotta go out. Let the kids have the positions like catcher. So
You're born in 2005, and he's like, when you get old. Okay, we'll talk to you in 30 years.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, thank you for sitting down with us today. I don't know if we
guys.
broke your routine, whether you usually do sit-down interviews with media on days you're starting. But
I'm not that superstitious.
Okay, good. We love that.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Having me.
That's awesome.
Thanks. Have a fun one tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate it.